Whether you have a new truck, an old truck, you're looking for a different truck, you want a new suspension kit, or want new wheels and tires, the question at the end of the day is always gonna be, what is the biggest wheel and tire setup that I can fit on my truck? Maybe includes a little bit of rubbing, but it's okay because it's gonna look sick on the gram, so what can I fit, right? I think we've all been there. It's kind of just the question to ask and go for, and today, we're here to share with you the biggest setups you can reasonably fit on your 07 to 13 Chevy Silverado 1500. And I know they have square wheel wells, like extremely square. It's a little bit harder to fit wheels and tires on these things. Let's get into it. So with any of these trucks, we've kind of talked about it with the cat eye body style, the 99 to 06s, but the 07 to 13s, for some reason, Chevy decided they're gonna have even more squared off wheel wells than the previous body style. Don't ask me why. I was an engineer back in the late 06s into the early 10s. I don't know what that, yeah. The fact remains that you have a square wheel well you have to deal with a circle wheel that needs to fit in there. So the most reasonable option is the Norcal Mod. If you guys don't know, the Norcal Mod is just a lot of cutting, a lot of smashing, a lot of folding back, and ta-da, you have a little bit more room kind of inside of the wheel well so that when you're turning and the wheel's swinging in and out, you can fit your wider wheels and tires in there. Now, if you get too wide, you're gonna rub on the outside of the fender, and at that point, you're just screwed. You can kind of like pie cut, and if you know body work, you can just literally like shave down your fender. It's a lot more work. Sean did it on his truck because he wanted to fit like the biggest setup possible. That is something you'll need to go to somebody else for, not something you could do in your driveway. But the fact still remains that you have a square wheel well with a circle wheel that needs to fit. So most of these are gonna require a Norcal or some type of trimming to make them fit, but once they're done, they're gonna look pretty damn good. So starting with your leveling kit, you're looking at 20 by 9s, which 20 doesn't really matter, right? It's a diameter. You have 20s, 18s. That's not gonna change the fitment of the wheels and tires on your truck. What will matter though is that width. On your leveling kit, you're looking at a 9 wide. So 9 wides are gonna sit pretty much flush with your fenders, and then tire, you're going with a 33, or what a lot of people are going with is like a metric size, like a 285, 75, 17, or 18, or 20, whatever your diameter is type of thing, which it'll be about a 33 by 12 or a 33 by 11. You can already see that with this leveling kit and the 9 wides, you don't have that big of a tire you can go with. It is gonna be a little bit taller than factory, a little bit wider, but still nothing crazy because, again, you're gonna have to do quite a bit of trimming just to fit that. Now, jumping up from that to like a 3.5-inch lift or a 4.5, all kind of fall into the same category. There you're looking at a 10 wide and a 33. That is gonna be a little bit stuffed because as you're gonna kind of see throughout this whole video, those 7 to 13s can just pretty much fit 33s on any suspension that you're going with. It's just less trimming or more trimming depending on how big of a lift you go with. So the 10 wides, 33s on your 4-inch lift, it's gonna need a full Norcal Mod to fit that, but it's gonna look pretty good. Jumping up from that to your 6-inch lift, or if you really wanna stretch out all of your angles, which we're probably not gonna recommend, but you can do it anyways, 7.5-inch lift kits, you can fit 12 wides and 35s. Full Norcal, 7.5 compared to the 6, it's an 1.5 difference. It's still gonna rub just as much. You're still gonna need to do bumper trimming in the front, still need a full Norcal in the back, but it looks solid. I remember when Bankers like 2012 or 2013, whatever it is, got done for the first time, like way back in the day. He had probably had that truck, it was 3 years old at that point. He had a 7.5-inch lift, he had 12 wides, 2012s, and 35s, and the thing looked big, it looked mean. Again, that was back in like 2016 when 7.5-inch lift kits were huge. Now we have like 14-inch lift kits and don't bat an eye at it, it's weird. So 7.5-inch lift kit or 6 if you kind of want to go more conservative with the angles that you have with your suspension. 35s are going to run with your 12 wides. Now, jumping it up to a full-on big boy lift kit. If you want to go all out like Cody Lawson, you're looking at a 7 to 9 set to 9-inch McGoy's, or I'm sure there's a couple other companies out there. I think Bailey's got 8-inch King coilovers. There's options, right? With that 8 to 9-inch lift kit, you're looking at 37s with 14 wides, which I would say is probably the biggest, baddest, most perfect setup. But to get that, you're going with the biggest lift possible. You're going 14 wides and 37, so you need a full Norcal to do it. And of course, it may still rub a little bit. I'm not saying that any of these setups in this whole video are gonna not rub when you throw them on your truck with a full Norcal. They still could, but sometimes you just gotta make sacrifices for the gram, and that's what Lawson did. Now, coming in and out of driveways and stuff, where you're kind of coming at an angle or going into parking lots, You might rub a little bit, but it's not gonna be anything that's like crazy and it just makes your heart drop because you think you're ripping your whole fender off. Trust me, I've been there before. Now, the other thing too with these trucks, that if they don't rub while you're driving in forward gear, a lot of times what can happen, even if you kind of like catch it a little bit going up in driveways and inclines and stuff, is reverse. For some reason, the way the suspension shifts when you kick it into reverse, I don't know all of the technical behind it, but so for some reason these trucks will rub a little bit in reverse, even with a full Norcal. If you barely rub going in and out of driveways, expect it as you're going in reverse out of a driveway and you kind of make that turn to go out of your house and just go down the road, it's just gonna do it. So whether you're going with a normal lift kit, you're going with the McGoy 7 to 9, or even going with the Rough Country Vertex coilover kit, which by the way, are under like $2,500, and you can kind of get them at customoffsets.com. Coilovers, smooth ride, rough country, just saying. No matter what you're doing, you need a full Norcal because that's just kind of the name of the game with these trucks. Damn square wheel wells. It only gets worse with the 14 to 18s, but hey, we ain't there yet. You're gonna wanna subscribe for more. That's youtube.com/customoffsetstv. That's all we got for you. Peace.